Hello, Willow class. Welcome to the third online maths lesson. I hope you're doing well. I'm going to try and do something slightly different today because you've been doing great work with your multiplying a two-digit number by a one-digit number. And so I just kind of want to make sure we've kind of nailed that, if you like, before we move on to the next topic. So what I'm going to do today is I kind of want you to be the teacher, because I'm going to put 3 questions up on the board to start with, and basically there's a mistake in them, and I want you to try and see if you can work out what the mistake is and then try and explain what they've done. Probably at this point it might be worth sort of getting a piece of paper, a pencil, just so if you want to make any workings out or write anything down, you can, and maybe pause me when you need to, okay? So on the board, what you can see is a calculation, and Alex has completed this calculation, and it is 43 times 2. And the question I put to you this morning is, can you spot her mistake? Okay, so you can see that she's written it down, and actually I quite like the way she's written it down, because each number is in its own square, and she's got the symbol of the multiplication and the addition in their own square, and the T for tens and the O for ones. But look at what she thinks the answer is. She thinks the answer is 14. So like I said, can you spot her mistake? And then the next question. Now this is Teddy. Now Teddy has completed exactly the same calculation as Alex, 43 times 2. He thinks the answer is 806. And my question to you is, can you spot and explain his mistake? What is it that he has done? So like I said, pause if you need to, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just talk you through as best I can what I think Alex and Teddy did, and just see if you agree and if you could, well, if you spotted the same mistake as I did. So if we go back to that first one, which was Alex's calculation. So he said 43 times 2 is 14. And he has started with the ones, which we always do. So he's times 3 times 2, and he's written 6, which I like to think you'd agree that that is correct. And then he has said 4 times 2 is 8. Now, what hopefully you spotted is that actually it's not 4 times 2 that he's calculating, or should be calculating. It is 4 tens times 2. So what you should be really saying to yourself is, what is 4 tens times 2? Now, I know most of you probably wouldn't speak like that, or say it like that, should I say. So you're probably thinking, well, you'd probably say 40 times 2. Okay, it's the same thing, 4 tens, 40. So what is 40 times 2? And of course, it's not 8, is it? It is 80. So what he should have done is he should have written the 8 in the tens column here, and then the 0 here. And then the last step, which you remember to do, is 80 plus 6 would have got him 86, which is the correct answer. Now, when Teddy did that calculation, let's just have a look at what he did, because he did it slightly differently, actually, because he didn't have 2 steps of the multiplication. He went straight in here. So look, he said 3 times 2 is 6. And then he's said 4 tens times 2 is 80. Now 4 tens times 2 is 80, but if you think about it, this is already our tens column. So you don't need to have this 0 here, okay? Because your 0 for 80 would be in your ones column. So what he needed to do is put his 8 in the tens column, and then he'd have got the same answer as Alex would have done if he'd done it correctly as well, which would have been 86. Okay, right, now let's see if we can move on to another question. And I hope you can see on the board it says, Dexter says 4 times 21 equals 2 times 42. And then I've written, is Dexter correct? So what you need to do now, if you can, is get yourself a piece of paper and see if you can work out those calculations. And why don't you try and do it setting it out in the column method, just as a bit of practice. And now I'm going to talk you through the answer, because is Dexter correct? Yes, he is correct, because both multiplications are equal to 84. And what you may have noticed is that if you look at these numbers 4 and 2, and then 21 and 42, what we're actually doing is we're halving and doubling. Okay, so half of 42 is 21, half of 4 is 2. That's something when we go back into class, like I'll talk you over about how that works. But if you want to, you can have a practice and just see if it works with different numbers. See if you can halve one number, and if you halve the single digit number, so you go from 4 to 2, then see if you double the 2-digit number, does it always work? Do you always get the same answer? Well, class, if you want an extra challenge today, I've put one on the board. And it says, write and solve a 2-step problem that uses multiplication and addition and has the answer 57. Which sounds quite complicated, but it really isn't, Willow class. All I want you to do is to see if you can think of a multiplication, and I mean timesing a 2-digit number by a 1-digit number, and see if you can make the answer 57. And if you can, is there another way of doing it? As the boy asks, I wonder how many different problems like this I can write. Have a go and let me know if you work out the answer. And the last thing I was going to say to you, Willow class, and I'm sure you're totally aware that it's Wednesday today, so Mrs. Robertson is going to take over tomorrow, and she will take over your lessons Thursday, Friday, and I will be back with you on Monday morning. So I just wanted to say, well done. You're doing absolutely brilliant, and I miss you, but I will see you again on Monday. Okay? Take care, guys. Bye.